Hello. Is that working? Yay. Okay, good. Hi. Welcome in, everybody. What is up, gamers? Hi. Hello. What a day it's been. Oh boy. So I apologize in advance if the vibes are a little, like room temperature today. I've had a weird day and it's been a little unfun in some ways. Just, when it's just like, I cannot. Like, when you have an appointment, but it's not at a specific time, it is between the following hours. And the hours that it might be between is, like, a ton of hours. So I spent basically my entire morning in waiting mode, not really being able to do much or think about anything else. So that was fun. And then, I don't know, I'm having some ongoing health stuff that I probably shouldn't TMI at you. But, that has progressed, in interesting and confusing ways. But, more importantly, who's that Pokemon? This is so weird, because that's just me. That's literally what I look like right now. But yeah, it's new PNG Tuber reveal day. I had to slightly adjust the shade. I'm so stupid, y'all. I'm so silly and unserious and just a maximum silly goose. And the reason I say this is I had to adjust this. So this is the color of my mug. And I had painted the mug in this color. But this color is kind of green. It's, to demonstrate from the paints that I got it from, it's green. What color do I use for, like, the chroma key stuff in my PNG Tuber software and my streaming software? It's green. I green screen it so all you see is me. I chroma keyed out my mug. So I had to recolor it in post today. And also do all of this putting together so, like, my mouth moves when I'm talking and I blink and stuff. Because if I didn't blink, I'd be super uncomfortable. Anyways, Turnip, thank you very much for the lurk. Thank you. Hello, Q2s. Q2 says, Sammy, me. Hi. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the lurks and for the hangouts and all that jazz. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, your streamer's experiencing some health related gubbins, and it's being not fun because I had some tests done a while ago and they sent me away with some. I don't want to get too far into it, but I had some tests done a while ago and they were like, okay. They sent me away with some medicine and were like, okay, we'll test again in 3 months. And so I went away with the medicine. I took the medicine as directed. I felt exactly the same. And then came back in 3 months hence. They tested again. They're like, okay, well, so that hasn't had the intended effect. In fact, you're slightly worse. Yay! So now more things are happening. But to be honest, I don't know what's happening when. And I don't know if someone's going to contact me about, like, more appointments and when that might happen. And because of the speed at which things happen on the NHS, I'm genuinely afraid that I'm going to get a letter from the NHS being like, okay, you've got a scan booked. One of the very few days that you're not going to be in the country. Good luck with that. Like, that's a scary. Anyways, so that's what I'm dealing with right now is a big bowl of I don't know. It sucks being me a little bit, to be perfectly honest. There's mysterious things happening inside me. Anyways, hello, Roll. Welcome in. Sorry you've come into Sammy overshares about their health days. But that's the kind of day I'm having, apparently. But hoping to channel some of my energy into make painting be good. We'll see. Anyways, hello. And it's lovely to see you and welcome on. And hey, Alquil, welcome in. And a hi-ho to you too. I have 3 beverages today. I was because of the, again, if I know I have something happening within a time period, I can't do anything else within that window of 4 to 5 hours. just in case I get that phone call and I'm in the middle of a task. No, 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 no. My brain can't handle it. It's like, no, I am in waiting mode until this thing happens. And it didn't happen until like 12:30. So I was just in waiting mode all morning until 12:30. Intolerable. Anyways, so I made my first coffee of the day quite late. So I'm having a coffee, and I've also got 2 cups of tea. I've got mint is over there, and then jasmine is over here. So, I think I should be well covered on the tea front. But anyways, what do you think? This new fully transparent background, which I haven't done before. I feel like you can kind of see a little more of the painting area because I haven't painted a background onto them. They're just floating here, but I don't know if that looks weird. If nobody likes that, I can give them a background. I can stick, I can put them like fully in studio, and you can see like the wall and the monitors and my microphone and the camera arm and all kinds of other visual gubbins, honestly, mostly just getting in the way. I won't be painting the cobwebs in the ceiling corner that I can't reach because I'm too short. I just like to pretend those aren't there. Anyways, I'm a sip on one of my drinks. Anyways, but yeah, this is a somewhat embellished street in Copenhagen, and I'm gonna have to I guess find that photo that I did in fact take myself of this bit of Copenhagen that I've been using as like a reference for this. I'm gonna go my own way when it comes to like colors and stuff, because I'm gonna do what I want. Already one of these buildings has like the wrong number of stories because I freehanded it slightly the wrong height, but never mind. You know what? That doesn't matter. Again, none of this is real. It's fine. But how's everybody else doing? How have your weeks been? I hope you're good. I hope you're well. I hope you're happy. And I hope you're having the loveliest of a lovely days and stuff. I have dangerous news in as much as I, excuse me, I pretty recently developed a hankering for something incredibly stupid. And you're either going to be like, yeah, let's do it, or you're going to be like, why would you do that to you? Like, why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And the thing is, I was thinking about nice bookshops in London. And I was thinking about, that painting that I did a few years ago that took just a stupidly long time because it was just nothing but books. It was like literally just nothing but books. I will try and find it quickly if I can. Because it's silly. And I was like, what if I revisited this concept? Okay, so I found it. I apologize. I found it on Ko-fi, on my shop, because it's easier to search than my Instagram. So I'm sorry you're about to see a self promo. I do apologize for that. But this bad boy. Older viewers may remember this bad boy, which just has a stupid number of books. Just a genuinely stupid number of books. It's so stupid. It's just... This took so long to do. Because it is just a stupid number of books. It is a silly, stupid number of books. It was so fun, and I had a lot of good times painting it, don't get me wrong. But, bookshelves, says Turnup. Hell yeah. But yeah, I was like, I kind of have a hankering for painting more bookshelves. I kind of want to do another, like, bookshop interior piece. And I know that this is a huge undertaking, and I don't know if it's worth the effort. But I guess at least for the being able to say that I did it, it's worth the effort, ? Maybe? I don't know. But I like doing it. is the thing. So I want to do it again. And also, that was a couple years ago. That was like, what, 2023, 2024? I think maybe 2024. Actually, I'm not sure. I don't know what year it was that I painted that, but it's been a wee while. And I think I might be able to do it even better if I do it again. You know? I think I may be able to take some things that I've done even more and worked on in the meantime and do one that's even better than the first one. Gasp! I know. But, like, maybe. I don't know. Or I might make one that's worse. Honestly, anything's possible. Where's my hand cream? My hands are dry. I'm gonna moisturize my hands. Okay. Hold on. That's there. Don't let me forget that that's where I put that. It's a very important piece of hardware. I need it for my posture check at PNG Tuber. Oh my gosh, you know what? You're right. Listen, if I had like super magic animation skills, I would absolutely get an animation in there that just has like the PNG Tuber does some stretches. I could probably just draw myself doing some stretches. That's not a terrible idea. I should get a posture check in place where, like, the little PNG tuber actually also, like, you know, raises their arms over their head and lengthens their spine for a second. Oh no, that'd be super cute. Am I gonna have to do a secondary PNG tuber that I switch to when they're having a stretch? Ha! What if? That would be really cute. I wish my animation skills were better. My animation skills are more or less limited to the 4 animation frames that it takes to create this PNG tuber, which is, you know, me blinking, me talking, and me blinking while talking. And that's it. Do it. It says Q2's. Ah, jeez. Now I feel like I gotta, because I said it out loud. Okay, well, that's going on the to-do list. That is going on the to-do list. So, you're welcome, I guess. Anyways. No pressure, says Q2's, but, like, all the pressure. I get it. Listen, I see you. I hear you. I understand. I understand perfectly. It's fine. I'm gonna stick my pants over here because I'm feeling silly. I don't know. Also, I've got my little swatchies here. So I think I'm good to maybe actually start painting? What? Is that weird behavior for a stream to like actually start painting? I don't know, but I think I'll maybe do that. Also, my palette is a little bit wet because I didn't dry it off with anything after I washed it. And I washed it just before stream. Because, I did not do it the last time I painted because I was feeling tired. So, there. Oh well, anyways. I'm just scrutinizing from this reference photo what sort of color / colors the pavements are in this area, and I'm going with I'm starting with a dip into silver blue, but I'm going to add quite a lot of the storm gray, which is brown. But I don't want nothing but the storm gray, which is brown, because my hair here is storm gray, which is brown. Now, granted, in real life, my hair has a little bit of a salt and pepper quality these days because I'm getting some gray stripes, but with that being said, most of my hair is brown, and that's not far off. So, once again, the names of these colors can be a little bit, poopy. A little bit inaccurate. Oh my gosh, okay, we're gonna have to look at this on stream. I'm not painting yet. Because I need to take a detour with y'all. Because I don't know if you've seen this. I'll pop a link to it in the chat as well. I think it's so fun. I absolutely love this. I love it probably too much. Okay. Let me see if that works. Okay. Alright, this is, putting a link into chat in case you're curious. This is a little thing that assesses how good you are at telling two colors apart. And it starts off fairly easy. I have not done it on a computer monitor, so I don't know how this is going to go. But basically it puts two colors next to each other, and you have to try and select where the color changes with increasing difficulty. And some of them are very difficult. I appreciate the screen cleaner referral link goes here. So I have my maximum score. The best that I've done was a score of 0. You want the lower the number, the better you are at telling colors apart. And you know me, I think colors are neat. So I'm having a fun time with this. So my lowest score I was able to get on this earlier today was 0.0025, which is pretty low. So I want to see how it works on this monitor, because this is a different monitor. So let's go. All right, so I can see fairly clearly on one side it looks quite blue. On the other side it looks like it's gray. Hey! These colors look very different to me personally. Obviously your mileage may vary, especially if you have any color blindness. I have no idea how this would shake out for you. I guess it depends on which colors your cones are not good with. But this is very contrasty to me, so boom. Okay. These are a lot closer together in terms that they're both kind of pinkish, but not too bad. And now we're getting into territory where it's a little bit more difficult, but still, And these are two very different temperatures of pink, so there we go. One of these is a much darker value than the other. These are not too far off, but boom. Okay. This one's easier. This one is about the same difficulty as the last one. Here we go. We've got two different temperatures again, but very similar in value. Here we go. Blue, and then a slightly greener blue. I think I can see a line here, but that might just be my eyes screwing with me. And or I can see there's some schmutz on this monitor, so hey! I did it. Thankfully there isn't a time limit on these, so if you need to take a little time, you can. Yeah, I love this. I think it's so much fun. I can see a line right there, and one right here. Oh no. Oh no. See, they like lull you into a false sense of security with these and then throw one at you that is so similar. But I'm just like, no, what, no, this is all the same color to me. This is entirely all the same color to me. I'm calling shenanigans. I have a different color game that's really cool. Can I put a link in chat so you can try that? Ooh, I don't know how to, my link permits are tied to a bunch of stuff, but if you can whisper the link to me, I can link it in the chat. If you would like to do that, I would love to do it. Oh god. Oh. Okay, I'm going over here, but this might be schmutz. Yeah, no, that was nothing. That was absolutely nothing. That was just my screen might have had a bit of dust on it there. Okay, here. Sometimes it takes a moment when, like, the colors change for your eyes to adjust, I find, as well. Like, this is so close, but this side is slightly darker, and I think it's a slightly cooler temperature. This side is slightly darker than the other. Boom. Okay. Huh. No, I didn't mean to click! I did not know I wasn't ready to click! I just went to move the mouse and it clicked! No! My score is imperfect! I wasn't ready! Okay, the side on the right of this is a little more vibrant. And the side to the left is a little darker. Oh, screw you! This is nothing. This is nothing. That was so mean. Okay, this is just one color. This is just one color. Shenanigans. Hi, Katie. Hi, Katie. This is a quiz where we're currently looking at two colors, and I have to try and find the line between the one color and the other. And actually, looking at it on the stream preview, it was slightly more obvious. And I was able to find it. I think it's here. Okay. No. I feel like I might see something here, but I might just be, like, hallucinating it at this point. No, I was entirely off base. I was just imagining a line that didn't exist. Anyways. This is also a monitor test, says Alquil. I have the link for the other game from Q2, so I will investigate that as well. Looking forward to that. I think on my stream preview I see something kind of over here, but I can't tell exactly where. That was close-ish. Shoot. Okay, I can see it's right here. Yep. No. The difference is there allegedly, it says. I don't think that's true. Anyways, I literally can't. Oh, no, I tell a lie. It's here. Oh, that took so long to see. This is so hard. This is so hard. Like, I want to think that I'm good at being able to tell colors apart, but some of these are just mean. But also, you're right. This is a monitor test. Where are you? What's the difference? I can't even tell what the difference is. Like, I'm trying to look in sort of opposite corners and see if I can see a difference. Like, does one of them look slightly darker than the other? And I don't know. Maybe it's here. No, that was not too bad, actually. That was not too bad. That was a fairly wild stab in the dark. I feel like I maybe see something here, but I also don't think that I can say that for sure. Like, that's a bit of a guess, being honest. OMG, the sass, says Katie. I know. And some of the sass is totally unjustified as well. Do better. It says, do better? Are you kidding me? That was one solid color. Excuse me? Okay. That one I can see. My moderator / spouse has just come home, by the way. So, I'm gonna pop back onto camera for a second. We'll come back and finish the quiz, and then I'll check out the one that Q2 has sent me. So one moment, please, chat. Enjoy looking at my PNG tuber in the meantime. Hi, baby. Welcome home. Oh, yay, that will destroy my digestive system and make it harder for me to absorb iron. Oh, juice. Thank you, baby. Yeah, I'll put it in the fridge. Thank you. Delicious Juzz orange juice. Juzz orange juice. I'll tell the anecdote on stream. But was your day okay? I'm glad you're home. I'm doing a color quiz. Yeah, it's fun.
The answer is blue.
Thank you, sweetie. He says the answer is blue. Katie says this is getting over it with Bennett Foddy, but colors and in a web browser. Oh my god. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think I have the patience to play Getting Over It. Like, you know. I will attempt the same thing over and over and over again and hope that eventually I get a different result. In many games, I do not think I have it in me to do Getting Over It. I think this is wrong. That was wrong. You didn't have to say do better, though. That's so mean. I did better, but still. What? Getting Over It? It is a very, like, stupid, difficult game.
Oh.
Like, I think it's designed to make you rage quit. It's very hard.
Okay, I'll go and finish that one.
It's, I think it's kind of hard. I feel like, you know that game that came out recently, babe? That's like, you have to walk up a mountain or something, and you're a sad guy in a onesie? Yeah. It's like, and it's very hard, and sometimes you fall back down. And undo all of your... Yeah, it's like that, but I think it's, like, potentially even harder than that. Yeah. Anyways. Hey! Okay, 0.0066. That doesn't feel too terrible. I feel like I can't, again, I can do better. I like that that's an option, because I feel like I could, but, you know, I think I'm gonna take a look at what Q2s has shared with us as well, because, I don't want to do this all stream, but on the other hand, it's so much fun. Like, I could.
Just paint.
Ooh! Oh yes, I think I've done this one. I think I've done this one before, but I don't remember. But this one is fun.
Painting stream.
My moderator / spouse says painting stream. I will paint. I'm just gonna do one more trying to see how well I can see colors quiz. All right, more color. I have linked it in the chat for anyone who wants to play along. By the way, I'm gonna do
Single player.
Oh, this has sound. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, so I have to remember this color. So it's kind of a soft muted oh god. Okay. Okay, it's kind of, I feel like the temperature's not too far off that, but it's like, it's a little darker. Maybe that? I don't know. That's, I was way too light. Okay. Alright. What is it? Ooh, that's mostly gray with maybe a little bit of blue-violet. So, probably here, and then pull this right down. But how dark was it? I don't think it was, I feel like, I feel like it was a little bit more, was it a little bit bluer than that? Cool. Okay. This is fun. Off by a pixel. We're disturbed, not impressed. Wow, thanks. What is with these color people and being absolute sass masters? What's going on? Who's next? Alright, this is like a Richard Brown. But it's almost a little bit of an olive brown, I feel like. I don't know, how am I gonna make this? So it's dark. And pull this up. Maybe just a little bit further that way. But it was fairly rich, I feel like. Maybe like that? Oh, I could have gone way warmer. Shoot. Heck. Well, I tried. What's next? Ooh, it's pretty! That's like orchid. Oh man, that's a really pretty color at least. I don't know if I'm going to be able to recreate it, but it's warmer, it was warmer than that. Close to, no, stop it. I'm not touching you anymore. Okay, a little bit, maybe a little bit more muted. A little darker, maybe a little less muted. No, a little more muted. Maybe a little bit more vibrant, but also a little lighter. No, that's two. No, that's two. That's two. Maybe like that. Oh my god, I was so far off. That's a completely different color than I remembered. I should have gone way pinker. Shoot. Okay. Last one. Oh, that's just a lovely straight ahead, like, sky blue, isn't it? That is just, do you love the color of the sky? That's the middle of that Tumblr post. Alright, alright. I see you. Okay, it wants more vibrancy than that, but it's also much lighter. What do I think? Like, something like that? Oh! That's pretty good. That's pretty good. How did I do out of 50? 43.85. I feel alright about that. I feel good about that. I feel good about that. That was very fun. Thank you for coming with me on that journey, chat. And if you do decide to give it a go, and you want to share like your scores and stuff, you can also share in the Discord as well. I might pop those links into the Discord after stream also. Much more fun than the first one. The first one is a little, that one was less, the stress of that one is that you have a finite amount of time to actually like look at the color you're trying to reproduce. But the second one, the stress is like, what are you talking about? This is just one continuous field of magenta. There are not two colors here. Are you kidding me? And every once in a while, if I do just like fixate on it for a period of time, eventually my eyes are able to see where the distinction is. But then sometimes it's just like, no, this is one color. This is just 100%, this is just one color. I don't know if this is something that just is kind of like an inbuilt trait that you have, whether like a very strong sensitivity to like differences in color, or if it's something that you can like acquire as like a skill, like you can kind of teach yourself to do it. I honestly don't know. I feel like this pavement is a little too brown, but for starters, this is okay. I might just do a little bit of strategical futzing and possibly give it a little glaze. I'm gonna grab my blotty tissue. And just blot, 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 because that was also a little bit dark for a first pass. Okay, so I've got a slightly too brown stain. That sounds bad. Oh no. Q2 says, not me screaming, calibrate your monitor, Sammy. No. You can't make me. You can't make me. I don't want to. My monitor's fine. Anyways, how's everybody doing? How are your weeks? I hope your weeks have been good. I feel very proud of all of those colors I identified, kind of. Is that something to be proud of? I don't know. But here we are. Anyways. I'm gonna clean my brushy down a little bit, and as I say, because I feel like this color ended up being a little bit too of this is not gray, it's brown. I'm just gonna go over the top with this. It's not blue, it's gray. And actually, I mean, it is like a slightly bluish silver, but I would not call it a silvery blue. I would call it a bluish silver. And I do believe that there's a difference between these two things. Okay, that'll do for a first pass. I'm gonna add some like texture-y elements, you know, like bits where some stuff has probably accumulated on the pavement, or there's a bit of a chunk of pavement is missing, or things are a little discolored, that kind of thing. You know, how pavements be. The little bit of textured sidewalk on the edges so you don't walk off the pavement into the middle of the road if you are visually impaired. That kind of thing. Anyways. Okay. Q2 says, when you said moderator / spouse, I heard monitor / spouse. I promise you I am not married to a monitor. He is a human person. That's very funny. Anyways, I cannot believe I didn't even think that, like, having a, like, sort of turquoise colored mug would get chroma keyed out. And I had to recolor it. What a silly sausage. But never mind. I need to decide at some point in the near future what colors all of these buildings are going to be, because I don't think I want to just 100%. I mean, I could 100% just take the colors of the buildings as they exist in real life, because actually they are really cute. Maybe I shall. We've got sort of a nice, like, sort of orangey pink one over here. We have this one's kind of like a pale pinkish beige. This is a beautiful yellow with a nice brown roof, and this is a beautiful, like, this is like Moomin House colors over here. This is just like if Moomin House were like a block of flats / like a business on the ground floor in the middle of Denmark. It is just, that is just Moomin House. Anyways, so I might do that. I mean, it's a Moomin House if the ground floor of the Moomin House was, what is that? I can't actually see what sort of business it is, but it's some manner of business. Anyways. Ooh. Delightful. Okay. I don't know how much detail I want to go into with like things in shop windows, or if that's kind of going a little bit too full on. Trying to put things into window displays here, but I feel like there would be some window display happening here. You know? I don't know how much you'd be able to see, but let me take my okay, this tiny pencil needs a sharpen, unfortunately. So let me sharpen my tiny pencil if I can. It is getting very difficult to sharpen this tiny pencil. Oh my god, there's like none of it left to grip. No. This is probably why I gave up using this pencil in the first place, because it's too small. I can't, okay, it probably doesn't help that I just like moisturized my hands, so my hands are very nice and mildly slippery, so getting like a grip on it is more difficult. Okay, I'm gonna have to employ some, there we go. Okay. Okay. I basically gripped it in one hand with like the hem of my shirt so I could sharpen it. Babe. He gazed upon me as though I were from another planet, chat. And I don't feel like that's unjustified. But hey ho. Anyways. Right. I sip my tea. Are you adjusting the thermostat, baby? Hmm?
It wasn't on.
Are you switching on the thermostat?
Yes, because it was cold.
Okay. I switched it off earlier because I was too warm, but that's because I had 2 very fresh cups of tea.
Actually, it's just not even coming on. It says it's 19 already, which I don't believe.
Okay. Well, you can turn it up 1 degree. You can turn it up 1 of the Celsius if you want to.
That's fine. I'll just get a hot drink.
Okay. A hot cup of tea would also help and is probably less expensive. I love you. Anyway, sorry about that. Right. Well, I guess I have to do... Well, this one I've established is a little cafe. Because we've got these little tables and chairs outside. So I think we might be able to just see inside... that, like, the bar is here. Is that too tall? I feel like perhaps you go up a couple steps to get in here. So that's probably fine. The little espresso machine. Some little shelvies. There's probably some tables in the back, but it's just, yeah, it's all a little bit vague. And you know what? Honestly, I think that's fine. I don't want to go too crazy. I've already gone too crazy. But I can't decide what this wants to be. I'm not making another bookshop. I won't do it. I'm not going to do it, chat. Oh, there's a piece of me that wants to do it, but I'm not no. I'm not doing it. I have plans to paint another. I think I'm gonna pick like and base it vaguely on like one of the nice London bookshops that I think is pleasant. I think that's what I shall do. But I haven't started sketching that yet because I need to formulate my idea. Also, I just recently started realized that this like piece of sponge is really nice to fidget with, the chip, as it were. It looks like a chip. It looks so much like a chip. It looks so edible. Anyways, also tomorrow is Silksong. In case that's something that you're into. I can't remember. Oh no, I do remember where. Oh god, we're still there. Oh no. I've just remembered where we are in Silksong chat. I think I made some progress, but I also wasn't able to practice it at all off stream because I'm not there in my practice save. So, yeah, interesting times. Interesting times shall be had. I'm sure, you know what, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it will be fine. but fair to say I'm a tittle bit nervous. I'm just going to, while I'm trying to figure out what I think that this little space should be. You know, it'd be cute. It'd be cute if it was an art supplies shop. That would be, oh no, that would be really cute. I think I'm gonna make it an art supplies shop and just have like some little art supplies hanging out in the window. Oh, that would be so stinking cute. Yeah, I think I have to do that. That's adorable. I am also taking some liberties with these window designs because, I can do what I feel like, and I think this is an absolute classic. Anyways, but yeah, I hope your weeks are all well. I hope things have been going well. I really want to do that color quiz again because it was lightly crazy. And also, I feel like I can get a better score. Like, I really feel like I can get a better score. But anyways, never mind that. I'd be curious how everyone else gets on with it if you do decide to give it a try. It is a fun time. Anyways, okay, let me look at the rest of these windows. So in canon, aka in real life, it looks like it's a children's clothing shop, because that's definitely, I mean, that's an elaborate fountain, but that's definitely like a child's like sundress kind of situation. But I don't know if I want to do a clothing shop. I feel like an art supplies shop would be fun, I think. If anyone has very strong feelings about why it shouldn't be an art supplies shop, I don't know, let me know before I do it. Otherwise, tough biscuits. Also, I'm gonna have a super fun time making sure that I don't accidentally paint in these window frames, which are very small areas, which are meant to stay white. And I have once again, I'm fudging the window design ever so slightly just to make it a little bit easier on me, because, heck. Katie says, if I wanted an actual picture of real Copenhagen, I'd look up photos. I'm here for creative interpretations of things. Hey! Thank you, Katie. That's very kind of you to say. Sarah! Hi, hello, welcome in. Sarah says, please, Sammy, this PNG tuber is too real. This is literally exactly what I look like right now. So you are correct. Right down to my feet not quite touching the floor, whilst I am seated at my desk. And this is indeed my exact posture. Anyways, how are you doing? It's so good to see you. Welcome in. I hope you are well. I also realized that some of the window frames in the center of this column of windows are going to be covered by some planty flowery stuff of the window boxes, but again, I'll figure that out when we get there. Okay. For now, I just want to rough this stuff in so that I can work to it. Anyways, another thing that I really want to paint at some point in the near future is another tube station. But I need to go to London to do it. And it's been a wee while since I've been able to take a little trip to the London. So I don't have any new reference pictures for stations I think are cool. I mean, I have lots of pictures of stations that are like fine, but are not like at the top of my list of stations that I really want to paint. And that's a big difference. Because I feel like I want to diversify, I want to keep it diverse in terms of like architectural styles and eras and that kind of thing. And lines as well. But there's one on the northern line that I really like, and I just haven't had a chance to get to it because it's like going southbound on the northern line to, it's like the second to last one. So it takes a little while to get out there. But I just think it's really pretty. And I want to go to there. Also, there is a pub across the street from the station that is called the Charles Holden. You'll never guess the name of the man who designed the station. That's right, Stanley Rivington. No, I'm kidding. It's Charles Holden. Yes. Some of the Zone 4 Plus ones have some nice architecture, says Sarah. Oh, I know. I mean, there's so many nice ones. There's so many nice ones and the ones that are just neat. And even some of the ones that are, like, boring are sometimes kind of cool in their own way. You know what I mean? Notwithstanding the ones where, like, it's hard to paint the tube station entrance when they don't have, like, a building side entrance at, like, ground level. Because some tube stations are pretty much entirely down below, and you just have, like, a few sets of stairs leading down into the main ticket hall kind of thing, which there's not really anything to paint at that point. It's just, well, I guess I can paint a set of stairs on this street. Wow! Anyways, I mean, you know, I might do some paintings at some point of, like, interesting platform levels / ticket halls as well. Who knows? Is this niche and of interest to primarily me and Sarah? Probably yes, but you know what? Sometimes that's enough. Sometimes you just need the thing that you do to be motivated by you and maybe one friend. And that's enough. But yeah, anyways. Oh no, one moment. Sorry, I had a poppy seed stuck in my tooth. I had a bagel earlier with everything bagel seasoning. And one of the things in everything is poppy seeds. It's delicious. There can never be enough public transit art, says Sarah. It makes me happy. It makes me happy to look at, and it makes me happy to do. So, yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And it is a fun thing to paint as well, I think. It's a good time. Okay. So these bad boys up here are just like, whoop. And just that. Doop, 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 doop. Doop, 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 doop. Done. Cool. Anyways, but yeah, so, I've got, like, a short list of stations that I could paint. You know, ooh, I'm thinking about more recent stations as well, because, like, there are some recent stations that could be quite cool to paint. But I don't know. Also, there was since the last time I've been to Battersea Power Station, they've installed a new entrance, and I haven't been to it yet, so I'm gonna have to go back there. One of the things, okay, so there is at Battersea Power Station, which is a building in London that currently houses, I think, mostly a shopping center. But judging by the name, you can tell it used to be a power station. But I think it's mostly shops now. Battersea Power Station. The reason I call it Battersea Power Station is that the name of the station is Battersea Power Station. Because it's near Battersea Power Station, which used to be a power station, therefore it's called a power station. But the traditional naming convention for stations is that you append station at the end of it, you know, like Edgware Station and Paddington Station, yada yada yada. So Battersea Power Station is not named after Battersea Power, it's named for Battersea Power Station, therefore the name of it is Battersea Power Station. And I really would like to paint one of the entrances of Battersea Power Station and correct the fact that it only says Battersea Power Station, and it should say Battersea Power Station. You're welcome. Anyways, Canary Wharf is a good recent station because of the roof. Oh yes, Canary Wharf is fun. Canary Wharf is fun and I really enjoy it, but I think it's the Canary Wharf bit of... Wait. Am I getting confused? So it's Battersea Power Station tube station, says Sarah. Yes! Don't get me started on Battersea Power Station being in Zone 1. Ah! I don't pay enough attention to zones, so I didn't know what zone it was in. but I shall not get you started in that case. But is Canary Wharf the one? Hold up. I need to, before we go to ads, don't go to ads yet. I need to look something up real quick, because it's going to bother me if I don't. Canary Wharf. Is it... Yeah, it's the Canary Wharf. I'm concerned for little Sammy's back and neck, and you should be, because this is exactly what I look like in real life. Also, hi Moriax, it's lovely to see you. I'm talking about Canary Wharf Station. So, Canary Wharf Station has a stop on the Elizabeth line, right? If you get off or on to the Liz line specifically at Canary Wharf, they have this like transparent yellow glass on the sides of the escalators going up and down, and I was like, this is kind of an interesting, like, funky style choice, until my moderator / spouse pointed out that it kind of looks like, because it's transparent and yellow, it kind of looks pee adjacent, and that has ruined it for me. Thankfully, it's not on the escalators or anything of any other line than the Liz line, so as long as you're not taking the Liz line and not using the escalator, you don't have to think about the fact that it looks a little bit like we. Anyways, this has been Tube Talk with me. But yes, no, well, now you've ruined the Lizzie line station, says Sarah. I'm so sorry. Canary Wharfs. Moriax, no. Listen, there are plenty of other genuinely, like, beautiful Liz line stations. Except, I have, okay, there's 30 seconds until ads, so I can't get into it now, but I have beef. Unless they've changed it in, like, the, I don't know, maybe 10 months since the last time I had to interchange at the station, I have beef, and this is maybe just me being, like, a stupid, dumb idiot, which it probably is, but I have beef with Custom House. And I really hope that they've changed it, because they just... Custom House, what are you doing? And I will explain when we come back from ads, because it's time for ads. Please enjoy the VRV screen. And I'll be back for it. Oh, Sarah says you can also pretend you're in Andor when you come out of that station. That is true. That is true. They do love... I think... Yeah, they love Canary Wharf as a location shoot for the Star War. Okay, I have to go before ads run. You're not going to miss anything because I won't be here. Enjoy the BRB music and stuff. I'll be back in a minute. BRB. Okay. I know you've all been waiting so impatiently and just holding your breath to hear, okay, what's your deal? No one cares. What is your deal with Custom House? And why do you have the beef with Custom House? Well, allow me to explain. So, let's just say that you are traveling somewhere, some distance, you're in, sort of eastish London, and you are taking the Docklands Light Railway, aka the DLR, and you need to change onto the Liz line. I care very much, says Sarah, but you knew that I would. Okay, fair. And again, I know this isn't just me because other people have reported the same issue. So, and I don't know whether or not they've fixed it in the intervening, like, sort of 8 to 10 months since the last time I had to do this. But anyways, you are traveling on the... Let's say, okay, so this is my, like, actual case. I was at Canning Town, and I wanted to change onto the Elizabeth line from the DLR. The DLR stops at Canning Town, so I figured that the easiest way to do it was to just go 2 stops up. I think it's 2 stops up from Canning Town to Custom House, change off of the DLR onto the Liz line at Custom House, right? And then take the Liz line to wherever the hell I was going. I think Bond Street, because I was going to Postcard Teas, and I also wanted to get gluten-free donuts from the gluten-free donut place in Selfridges, which I hate Selfridges. And I find Selfridges food hall, especially when it's busy, incredibly stressful. It is not a fun time for me. But I do appreciate being able to eat donuts, which is somewhat of a rarity for me these days. And if that means that I have to go... I can't just go to anywhere. I can't go to someplace nice and quieter where I know there's really good donuts. Oh God, I miss St. John's Donuts. They were so good. They were some of my favorites. There's a donut place that rocks up to my local farmer's market every Saturday, and I can't eat their donuts anymore, and they hands down best donuts. Like, 100% the best donuts. If you can eat wheat, like, Pip's Donuts, if they come to a market near you, and they do quite a few markets, wholeheartedly recommend. Anyways, and if you can eat donuts and you're in London, I do like St. John's Donuts in Neal's Yard, I want to say. Anyways, if you can't eat gluten, I do think that the donuts in Selfridge's Food Hall are very, very good. Not even just for gluten-free donuts, they're just good donuts, hands down. Delightful. And I think they did a Boston cream as well. I hope they're still there, because I haven't been since like last summer, because, well, I don't know. It's probably not a good idea to eat donuts too often, because my body is falling apart. Anyways, that's my point is I needed to travel to Bond Street, and the fastest way to do it with the fewest number of stops and the fewest number of changes was to take the Elizabeth line, which goes directly to Bond Street. And I quite like the Bond Street Elizabeth line station, because it's leaky. How has it been another month already?
Oh hell yeah, Leaky just subscribed. I'm worried about your avatar's posture.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is a totally normal way for painters to sit. Don't worry about it. Anyways, Leaky, thank you so much for the sub. That's 16 months. 16! That's almost a year! My dude, thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate it. And it's so wonderful to see you. And I hope that you are having a wonderful, wonderful day. Truly I do. And welcome on in. Alquil's is secretly a shrimp. It's me. That's literally, this is what I look like right now. So anyways. So, I needed to get to Bond Street because I wanted to visit the tea place and get myself a gluten-free donut. I actually really like Bond Street Liz Line Station. I think it's especially when it's not busy and there's this one exit that is really quiet. Like, I don't think a lot of people know about it or use it, and it exits out onto an area that's often, especially if you're there in like the middle of the afternoon, it's so quiet. And it's you know, it's for, especially for like the middle of like busy bit of London, it's so chill, which I love, because when it gets really crowded and busy, I do sometimes get a little bit, it's too much. It's too much. I'm gonna start emitting a high-pitched whine and have a meltdown, which I don't enjoy. So, anyways. I think the almost a year joke at this point is they're very widely enjoyed. I don't know who came up with it. I don't think it was me. It might have been. I don't think it was me. I think it was a lot of people simultaneously, but I feel like I've been doing it for quite a while, and I don't remember where I picked it up from, if I did. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yes, Bond Street. So, just my point being, you want to go to Bond Street. The Elizabeth line is a good way to do it, especially if you are a stop or two away on the DLR from Custom House, which you can change onto and then just hop on the Elizabeth line, and then it's all the way across London to Bond Street. Perfect. Fantastic. Love that for me. Except this is if you are on the incorrect end of the train, and I don't know how to like explain which end of the train it is, so I'm going to use this. Let us pretend that actually this is too short for a train. Okay, let us pretend you are coming in from you are traveling in from Canning Town to past whatever station it goes through to Custom House on the DLR train. Doop. Because you are one of the cool kids, you got the cool kids seats right up here, right? So you are on this end of the train and this end of the platform, right? You got one of the cool kid seats where you can sit directly in front of the window and pretend you're the driver. Also, it's just a super cool view. I love sitting at the very front or the very back of the DLR trains. I'm such a nerd for that stuff. You can do it in Copenhagen as well, and it is so fun. I will always give up my seat to a child, though. If a child is getting on the train, they get to sit in the front. That's the rules, you know. I do not get priority sitting in the cool kid seats just because I'm a 40-something with autism. That is a kid seat. So there. Anyways. So front of the DLR is elite, says Sarah. It really is. So, okay, you pull into Custom House on the DLR, right? You are in the front of the DLR. You get off at this end of the platform. and you look and you see an escalator going up with a sign pointing to the escalator going up, and at the top of the escalator is a little ticket barrier, and it says Elizabeth Line pointing that way. So you're like, ah, that's where I tap out of the DLR to get to the Elizabeth Line. Okay. Because you don't see any other tap points on the way, so you figure I just gotta go up there, tap, and then I'm on my way, right? That's where they get you, the little fuckers. Pardon my French, but it's justified here. The only tap in, tap out because, okay, so if you're not familiar with the DLR, unlike the Elizabeth Line where you have to actually go through a physical, like, gate to get into it, you just for most DLR stations, or a lot of DLR stations, there is like a little sort of freestanding pillars with little tap points that you tap your travel card or your bank card onto to validate in and out of your journey. In order to change from the DLR to the Elizabeth Line, you have to tap out of your DLR journey and then tap into the Elizabeth Line. Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Except, there are no other tap points anywhere on, like, this side of the DLR platform at Custom House. So you go up here, you tap, you think, okay, I've tapped out of the DLR at this, like, gate, because some of the gates at Canning Town, which you just came from, has, like, a gate that opens to get into the DLR, same as the Jubilee line, which also stops there. Right? So you'd be justified in thinking that there's a similar system here at Custom House, except there isn't. All of the points where you tap out of your journey on the DLR are over here. You have to walk all the way back down the platform, almost out of the station, tap, and then go upstairs to the Elizabeth Line. There is no tap out point over here. What is the point of this escalator to and from the Elizabeth Line if you're not going to have a place where you can validate your DLR journey over here? Because you know what? I got overcharged. I got charged max fare for my DLR trip because I hadn't tapped out of my DLR trip, and I didn't realize until it was too late that I had tapped in to the Elizabeth Line without tapping out of the DLR train. So it didn't count the interchange. And what I want to know, TFL, is why was there no little console on the DLR platform anywhere on this half of the platform at Custom House for you to tap out of? Or any signage to say, don't forget to validate the end of your DLR journey before you get on the ding-dong. It's just so counterintuitive, and there's not the right signposting to tell you how to do it. Anyone from who doesn't regularly make this journey or make this interchange, especially people from outside of London, are very likely to get caught on this thing, you know, sort of tap their Oyster card or their bank card up at the ones at the top of the escalator, think, okay, I have exited the one train, now I have to go to the thing to enter the other train. No, you just effed yourself, buddy. And there was literally no indication that you were to do the thing, and there was nowhere on this side of the platform to do it. It's so counterintuitive. And I know I'm not the only person to have had this problem because I looked online and other people are complaining about it. So yeah, that's my beef. That's my beef with Custom House, is the DLR to Elizabeth Line interchange is extremely poorly laid out, and I really hope that they've changed it. But with that being said, I was there in 2025 and they had this problem, and people were complaining about this problem back in 2022, so it had been that way for at least 3 years. But yeah, anyways. Front of the DLR is elite, says Sarah. I completely agree. Sarah says, this is a niche story that I relate to. And in fact, that's part of the reason that, so Sarah said, see, it wouldn't have occurred to me to go backwards to Custom House from Canning Town. I would have gone to Canary Wharf and walked over. See, the reason that I wouldn't do that is that I really hate interchanging at Canary Wharf because it's so freaking big and you basically have to, like, leave the station and, like, go to another station to change trains, and I find that deeply stressful. I don't want to do it. I dislike that immensely. The last time I had to change from something to something else at Canary Wharf, I was just like, And I think I potentially just straight ahead forgot to validate my DLR journey that time. Again, because I'm stupid. Anyways. So yes, anyways. Right, catching up with chat. Leaky says, for me it depends if it's commuter busy or tourist busy. The latter is the real hell for me. Tourist busy is... I'm also not a fan of commuter busy, because sometimes commuter busy is like oppressive levels of crowding, which I can have mild panic in. Tourist busy really, really, really ticks me off. When people do, it's like going to a foreign city, you just forget everything you know about how to function in public. Like, okay, you're taking an escalator out of the metro station, right? And then, once you get to the ticket hall at the top of the escalator, you're not sure where you need to go next. You don't know what exit you're looking for. So what do? You stop directly at the top of the escalator so that the people behind you can't get off the escalator. That's what you do. You shouldn't, but the number of times I've been behind someone who's done this is non-zero. And it's always obvious. It's like, my God, buddy, just find like a quiet like wall or something you can stand against for a minute, get your bearings, and look to see if there's a sign telling you where to go. Don't stop at the top of an escalator. That's a safety issue. Anyways. Point being. Sarah says, due to working in Canary Wharf for a number of years, it holds no fear for me anymore. Oh, that's understandable. I spend a significantly more minimal amount of time in and around Canary Wharf, so it intimidates me. Leaky says, I have the advantage that I can see over the crowd, so it's not as bad. I'm so jealous. This is one of the times that I don't like being short. Most of the time I'm fine with being short, but it does decrease my visibility a great deal, especially in very busy situations, which can be, as I say, a little stressful. Sarah says, Copenhagen is a good example of tourist busy being stressful because the Danish will run you over with their bicycle. It is a fairly cyclist city. But also, you know, try not to stand in the middle of the pavement is my general rule of thumb. I oftentimes I find myself when I'm traveling, like, not really having the chance to stop and look at or take photos of things that I really want to, because I'm like, it's too crowded in the area that I'm in, and I will disrupt the flow of foot traffic / bike traffic / motor traffic if I stop to take a photo here. So I'm just gonna not do that. And I end up being like, oh man, how was my trip to this place? And I look and I'm like, I took 9 photos over 3 days. What the hell? And 3 of them are of my coffees. Well, great. And that's why it's important for me to immortalize some of these experiences, at least the vibes of them, in paint. But then I feel like, I don't know, maybe it was just not a particularly busy time when I was in Copenhagen, but I don't think we really came upon that much in the way of, like, big crowds when we were there. I might be misremembering. I don't know. I remember I have fond memories of taking the metro to Frederiksberg. I'm sorry. To this tiny little hole in the wall just to get coffees. And then we ended up getting some brunsvier from a bakery nearby as well, which is nice. Oh man, I wish I could still eat brunsvier. It's good. It is, if you don't know, it's kind of like if you took like a coffee cake and it had a baby with a focaccia, because it's a yeasted dough that you kind of like dimple, and then you cover it in this topping that's made with like brown sugar and butter and stuff, and it kind of soaks into all of these little dimples, and you end up with this really just luxurious, buttery, sugary crust on like a nice sticky cake bread situation. I went in August, so it was fairly busy. Oh, I was there in August as well. I'm trying to remember. It did rain pretty heavily at least one day, though, so that does make a difference. Though that being said, we did not have to book for, we booked a table for brunch, and once again, I like booking a table for brunch because I don't want to rock up and have it turn out, this is the one place that I had planned for us to go eat. And we can't because it's too busy. That makes me feel stressed. So I will book a table even if I'm fairly confident that there will be, like, not that many other people there. That's what I did. But my yogurt was good. I had yogurt. Anyways, but yeah. It rained so bad that day. We ended up having to walk, like, a fairly significant distance in the rain, and I'm like, that's a beautiful big historical building. Ooh, I'm pretty sure that's a palace. Booking it. You know, trying to get out of the pouring rain. And then finally we get out of the pouring rain, and we go to a library, and we go to the library cafe, and we have cake. It was great. Anyways, I need to draw some more windows in. Okay. But yeah. Oh man, I'm making myself miss Copenhagen. We need to go somewhere again this year. I'm not sure where yet, because I haven't booked us anything. We have not done a bookage. We have not done a bookage, but we should go somewhere again this year. I hope we get to. These windows tiny. Tiny little windows. Doot 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 doot. Doot doot. There we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, I really liked Copenhagen. I would go hang out there again, like, very readily. I think that would be a nice time. Will I have opportunity to do so at any point in the near future? I know not. Perhaps I'll be there again this summer, if it ends up being the least expensive summer holiday option. Which I hear a lot of, like, one of the things that people will tell you about Denmark is how expensive it is, but on the other hand, I live in one of the most expensive cities in the United Kingdom, so my scale for expensiveness, I think, is a little bit skewed in that way. So when I went to Copenhagen, I was like, this is pretty much exactly the same as back home in terms of expensiveness of things, so I wasn't really thrown by it. I was like, this coffee is the same amount of money I would spend for a cup of coffee back home. This is fine. Sarah says, I'd quite like to visit Sweden as well. Me too. I was actually planning on going to Sweden last year, but I waited too long to book, and the flights were too expensive. I just feel like there's kind of a maximum, you know, sort of travel to get to a place money that I'm willing to shell out if I'm only going to be there for the better part of, like, 3 days. And it was too spenny for me at that point, and I was like, nope, no. And so we looked for somewhere less expensive, and that's how I ended up going to the Netherlands. Which was also really fun. We had an amazing time. Also, the Netherlands has the benefit of being significantly less hilly. There are some hills in Sweden. Whereas the Netherlands is quite flat. I can't wait for the train from Germany to Denmark. The train from Germany to Denmark? Ooh. Yes, please. Oh, I want to do that. That sounds like fun. I don't know if you know this about me, chat, but I am an enjoyer of, like, train travel. This may come as some surprise to you, but here we are. Anywho. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of stick the door frame in here. Okay. That's a door. La la la. Doot doot. Okay, cool. I'm gonna pop some. This is one of those annoying old buildings that just has a little step up to the front door of, like, the flats above the shop, just because they're like, hey, it's the 19th century probably, and we have no need to be accessible. Tough biscuits if you're a wheelchair user. I love the beauty of, like, old cities and stuff, but man, do I get sad when they're also, like, super inaccessible as a result. Sigh. There's no excuse for that these days. It makes me extra annoyed when it's like a new built something and they have not made it adequately accessible. That you are facing my maximum ire. Don't you do it. Anyways, under the sea and everything. Oh, so fun. Love a good tunnel. I did take the train to Sicily, and they put the train on the ferry, which was exciting but took so long to execute. Oh my god, I can't even imagine the technicality of that. Like, compare and contrast with the Eurostar. Yeah. I do. See, this is the thing. I really like the Eurostar, but because I live outside of London, if I want to travel someplace in the less expensive, because if you travel later in the day on the Eurostar, it gets progressively more and more and more and more and more expensive. Like if I wanted to get a nice sort of relaxed, like 11 a.m. train, something like that, to Belgium, let's say. Oh, well, congratulations. That's twice as expensive as if you get the 9 a.m. train. Cool. But getting the 9 a.m. train, when you have to get there 90 minutes early to get the Eurostar, because you have to, like, get your passport stamped and all that stuff, and check in, and yada 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 for the train before you can actually get on the train, means that, when we got the 9 a.m. train, we had to get to the station for 7:30, which meant we had to leave the house at 4 in the morning, which meant that by the time we got to Brussels, we were absolutely freaking shattered and did not have the energy to do anything except, like, take the tram to one coffee shop, get a nice latte and share a cinnamon bun, and then basically just go and just collapse in the hotel for the rest of the day. That's literally it. So, you know, the one good thing about getting up at 4 in the morning is that's the only time I have seen a fox in my neighborhood. We saw a fox from the bus stop. That was exciting. But that's it. Anyways, Leaky says, in the Netherlands, I cycled 40 kilometers in one day. Damn, I am not remotely fit, but having a dead flat, well-maintained cycle infrastructure makes all the difference. Absolutely. I live in a very cycling-intensive city in the UK. I would not cycle here. Number one, too many hills. Number two, this is a very medievally built city. There are many places where there just isn't good cycle lanes and stuff, that are major bits you have to travel through in order to get from one bit of town to the other, just because of, again, medieval city structure. And I love the fact that it's a medieval city. I do. I love it here, but I would not cycle here because I would feel extremely unsafe the entire time. The entire time. No. You know what? I enjoy being alive. I enjoy being alive more than I enjoy riding a bicycle. That's it. Anyways, but Sarah says, it's so amazing over there, isn't it, Leaky? London is improving for cycle infrastructure, but it's nothing on the Dutch level. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, there are some good areas in London for cycling, but it's not the everywhere that you would like to see. I fail to believe that 4 a.m. exists, says Leaky. I was once like you, and then I saw a fox at the bus stop. Anyways. And also then you're in Brussels, which is punishment in itself, says Sarah. Okay, I will say, I enjoy Brussels. I think it's nice. I like the fact that it's got trams. The metro scares me, because there was one time that we were riding the metro, and the driver just went from, like, 0 to 500 in the space of about a nanosecond. And just, like, threw you backwards. Like, an older woman who was just getting to her seat was, like, knocked over because the driver just, like, floored it so quickly out of the station, which was, frankly, kind of terrifying. I was like, what? Like, why? Like, what's happening? This is... No. Anyways, and also, if you take the lift in at least more than one metro station in Brussels, there's a very good chance they will smell of wee. So, yeah. But that being said, you can get some pretty nice quality chocolate, and there's some cute architecture. But I wouldn't rush back. Anyways. There are certain... Yes, Leaky says there are certain London... I couldn't remember which one it was, but I knew it was sort of in, like, west center of London. Certain London boroughs that hate cyclists, says Leaky. So there are gaps in the cycle network, aka the London Borough of Kensington and Chelsea. Yeah. The posh rich people with their big Whole Foods, which, no, don't get me wrong, I do love the Whole Foods in Kensington High Street. I do. I am a basic whole ingredients enjoyer, and I like that I can buy, or at least I used to be able to buy, like, varying quantities of granola ingredients. That's nice. And there isn't anywhere near where I live where I can do that, so that's cool and stuff. And also, they have a walk-in cheese fridge, which slaps, and it's the only place I've ever seen single Gloucester cheese available for sale, which is delicious, but it is a pain in the backside to cycle through Kensington because of this. Because apparently, you know, when it was like, okay, we want to put in cycle lanes, Kensington and Chelsea were just like, no. No, we don't want to have to look at cyclists while we're driving in our... I don't know what a fancy vehicle is, but whichever one of those it is, when my drivers are driving me around in my fancy, expensive McVehicle, I don't want to have to look at cyclists or think about them in any way, shape, or form. That's awfully gauche, I think. So no, thank you. Rabble. Anyways, so yeah, that's a bit of a problem, you know. Listen, I like that London has boroughs. It makes sense that London has boroughs, but sometimes when some boroughs are like, yeah, we don't want to be part of your whole, like, cycle lanes thing, you kind of go from having a nice, convenient cycle lane to ride in to, geez, I'm right alongside traffic, and traffic does not want me here. Yippee skippy. I don't know where I'm supposed to go now, and I'm actively on my bicycle. Pretzels, you know, like that sucks. Sucks. It's not good. Anyways. So yeah. Okay. I am going to... I think it might be time to add some more colors to this piece. What do you think? Can I do that? I still haven't fully decided what's going to go in this window, but I think I can color in a little bit, and then we can think of that. So I'm going to pick up some of this yellow, which is, I believe it's lemon. But I'm going to combine I want it to be a slightly more buttery yellow than lemon is in and of itself, so I think I'm going to add just a smidgen of, I think this is peach. I'm going to add a little peach to the lemon. And hopefully we'll end up with something that's sort of a nice buttery hue. Oh yeah, that's darn pretty. Anyways, so thank you for listening to me talk about cities and stuff. I think it's interesting. I think it's neat. There's a lot I don't know about it. There is, what was it? There was a we were looking at doing some actually we've got two different colors happening here, because there's a kind of a up at the top of the door frames here, and the color underneath it is different, so I'll do that. Okay. But this, oh no, there's a little fiber hanging off the end of my brush, and I did not want that to mean that my paint was going where I did not want it to. Anyways, looking at things to do when I'm on my every 2 years family visit to Canada in about a month's time. No, sorry, about 2 months' time. Yes, I will be away from stream for like 2 weeks in May. I apologize in advance. I am sorry that I will miss a couple of streams. I hope that's okay. I do try and maintain a consistent schedule, and I know that viewership has a tendency to just tank a little bit if you're not, if there are gaps in your schedule, but also, you know, I haven't seen my family in a really long time, and I'd like to be able to do that. Anyways, but while I'm there, we were contemplating whether or not we want to spend a few days in Tirana, or we wanted to do something else. And one of the things about Tirana is that there is a new some kind of light rail. It's not a metro or it's not a tram. I'm not sure what it is, but some kind of urban-based light rail situation that has opened in the last few months. And I do believe it is within the last few months because I remember seeing footage of it that someone posted to their Mastodon account. I'm on Mastodon, by the way. If you're on Mastodon and want to follow me there, I don't post much, but I do repost photos of birds from mostly German accounts that post photos of birds. So if that's what you're into, then by all means, come join me over there. Anyways, my point being, I did see from someone who went to like the inaugural journey of this new light rail line that I think is in like sort of North Toronto. They've put sort of this like little rail system in, connecting up some areas in like North Toronto, I believe. Conclusion, it's real slow. It is slow as molasses. Now this may have changed in the intervening, sort of like five to 6 months or so since it opened. I don't know how many months it's been, but it was real slow. Like, you honestly you are not saving any time on just like taking the somewhat more cumbersome bus route. Maybe just walking. Like, it is slow. Which begs the question of what is the point of it? And it's one of those things where, like, okay, well, it's slow to begin with, and then, like, maybe we'll try and work on improving it. And it's like, okay, that's fantastic. But if it's bad, people are going to not use it, and people are going to get used to not using it. And then you're going to look at it in, like, a couple, like, years' time and be like, wow, so the ridership on this line is bad. Should we really be expending budget on this line? And then you reduce services because no one's using it, and then less people use it because the services are less frequent, so they find alternative means of getting from here to there because it's not good. And then you're like, wow, I wonder why didn't anyone ever use this service? And then you get rid of it, even though it would have been really useful if you'd just made it good in the first place. But you have to make it good for people to want to use it. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. If you want to know how I feel about public transit. Anyways, I'll close the stream announcements on Mastodon in the main way how I catch the streams. Yay! I'm glad they're working then. That's fantastic to know, honestly. That they are not misplaced. Anyways, so I've made this a somewhat brighter shade of yellow than it is IRL, but I think that's fun. I'm kind of here for making these a little bit. I'm okay with these buildings being ever so slightly like candy colored. To which end I'm going to get a little bit creative with this one, I think, and maybe make it a little bit pinker. Okay, that's a very bright pink. Maybe if I kind of combine it with this bad boy, and then add in a little bit of this to just kind of tone it down a smidgen. So we have a kind of pinkish beige color. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. But yeah, sorry for being a little complainy boots there. But here we are. Anyways, I hope y'all are liking my springtime PNG tuber. I wanted something that had a bit more of a springy aesthetic. But now that I'm looking at it, I feel like it just has kind of a normal aesthetic, actually. And I just used a very springtime set of paint to achieve a very normal aesthetic. Oh well. Because again, this is exactly what I look like. Thankfully, my spine doesn't have quite such a permanent hump, but I am definitely pretty hunched over a lot of the time when I'm painting. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. Okay. I'm gonna start at the top and kind of work my way down, I think. For this one. Oh, there's so much paint on my brush. It's so wet. Which is good, because you get a nice texture that way. But also always worries me because I'm covering a reasonably large space, but I also have to be a little bit precise about where the paint goes, because I don't want to paint over my window frames, which want to be white. So mild struggies trying to balance that, because I could just use a smaller brush, but A, that would take a really long time, and then you run the risk of a lot of like visible brush strokes that are not really the aesthetic that I'm trying to go for with like the exterior of the building, etc., etc. Fun stuff. Anyways, the other thing I'm up to at the moment is, I think I mentioned this on stream, on a previous stream, but I have reached the I need to approach referees stage of my citizenship application form, and that is terrifying. It shouldn't be, because it's just, you know, asking somebody that I know, being like, hey, could you just, like, could I just put your details down on this form, and then I think you just need to declare that, as far as you know, I'm, like, a person of good standing and haven't committed any war crimes. That's the, okay, if you've never filled out the British citizenship form, let me tell you, there is like entire sections where you have to do, where they ask the question like, have you ever committed any war crimes? And then they give a list of things that are war crimes, and you can tick yes or no. And I'm just like, because it's me, in the interest of thoroughness, I am reading every bullet point on the list just to make sure I'm not accidentally lying to them, even though obviously I've never committed any war crimes. Like, I don't even commit regular crimes, let alone war crimes. I'm a very law-abiding little citizen. And yet, I find myself like, ooh, having a little panic because I don't want to get in trouble for lying on the form because I read something incorrectly. You know? Like, what if they worded the question really weirdly and they were like, are you sure that you've never committed any war crimes? Or, have you never committed any war crimes? And then you have to, like... And then you actually have to put yes because you've never committed any war crimes because they worded it weird. Instead of no, I haven't committed war crimes. Yes, I've never done a war crime. You know what I mean? Like that level of granularity you kind of have to go into it with, because you do not want to answer a question incorrectly and send off your application, which costs, I think, £1,600 just to submit the application. That's not including, you know, then, like, the fees that you have to pay for a new British passport after it, or anything else yet. I don't know if there's, like, an additional fee to attend the citizenship ceremony that you have to go to once your citizenship application has been approved. I'm not sure of that. Nevertheless, scary. Scary, 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 scary stuff. In particular, using the Red Cross for healing items. Multiple video games have violated the Geneva Convention, says Alco. What in particular? Using the Red Cross for healing items are similar despite not being the Red Cross. Oh my god. Oh my god. Katie says, I mean, my anxious butt would do the same thing. Yeah! Genuinely. Like, you do not want to get anything on there wrong, because there's a very real possibility that if you make a mistake on the form, they might contact you and say, hey, we think you might have made a mistake on the form. Could you please correct it? And then we'll, you know, reconsider your application. Or they might just come back to you and be like, your application has been denied. I guess you can appeal if you want to, but good luck with that. And that's like £1,600 down the drain. And now you have to start, you know, all over again from square one and try again if you want to. Like, The one I remember by name is Neopets violated the Geneva Convention, says Alco. Oh my god. Well, the good news is I've never played Neopets, so I guess that doesn't apply to me. That's wild. I never would have thought, in a million years, I never would have thought of that. That's so funny. But anyways. But yeah, so the form is pretty, like, in terms of the actual content of the form, it's pretty straightforward thus far. Things like, you know, what are your parents' dates of birth and nationalities? And where were they born? What, do you believe yourself to be a citizen in good standing, of good character, or whatever? And yes, I do believe myself to be a citizen of good I think I'm a very interesting character, in fact, but I don't think that's what they mean. But, yes, it is. I'm not finished. I don't know what the remaining questions are on the form either. But I know I had to print off 3 years worth of pay slips to prove that I've been living in the country the whole time and having pay slips from a British place that has paid me. It turns out it's very useful for that. Oh God, it sucks. It's so expensive. It's so expensive. It's so stressful and it's so expensive, and I'm so scared that I'm going to get something wrong. So that's what I'm going through right now. And now I have to go through the mortifying ordeal of asking 2 people I know, one of whom is a professional contact and one of whom is a friend, to, like, vouch for me on my citizenship application. And I am so scared. Like, they're not going to say no. They're not going to say no. It is not an imposition on their time beyond, like, probably 10 minutes at most. But does it scare the ever-loving heck out of me having to ask 2 people that I know to make this solemn of a like, declaration on my behalf? Yeah, it really does. I'm sure it shouldn't. Like, it should not, but it really does. Oh. And it does honestly make me worry, because one of the things, not for me personally, but other people going through the, like, applying for citizenship process, because you need 2 referees, one of whom can just be, like, you know, a friend or, like, someone you know, and it doesn't really matter. As long as they're not related to you, they're, like, a British citizenship, it can be, like, whoever, you know, it can be your friend, Dawn, right? But the other one has to be a professional person of one of a specific set of categories of professional person. Now, if you are someone who has a job, there's a very good chance you can just ask your manager, because a manager of, like, a company or someone in management counts as a professional. So that's pretty, you know, if you have a job, you could just ask, like, the manager at your, like, you know, sort of department store that you work in or whatever. But what if you're like a granny? What if you're, like, a retired granny? Who are you going to ask? You know? Your options at that point are limited. You might say, oh, well, your GP, you can't ask a doctor. Specifically, they say no doctors. I don't know why. But also, who has a regular GP anymore? I don't. I think in the last, like, 6 months, I've spoken to 3 different doctors about the same issue. So, yes. Anyways, Eva, hello. Welcome in. It's lovely to see you. I hope you are well. And I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday, and I hope you've had a good week. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Welcome in. Leaky says, I always remember a friend had to pass a basic English test. Pointing to her Guardian articles didn't exclude her from doing it. Ah, jeez. Yeah, the exemptions for the English requirement, I think, are fairly stringent. It's like, do you come from a majority English-speaking country, or I think do you have a university degree from a majority English-speaking country? And if neither of those things are true, even, you know, like, you're like, but, you know, like, I can obviously speak fluent English. Nope. At least at that point, the test is going to be fairly easy. You're not going to have a hard time with the English test. So I didn't have to take the English test because I'm Canadian and I'm from the English-speaking part, or an English-speaking part of Canada. So that was all right. I did have to take the Life in the UK test when I got ILR, which is the, it's not citizenship, but you can live and work here forever, like, permit, which is what I'm currently on. Why, you may well ask, am I looking to also get, citizenship? Because, you know, honestly, at this point, just politically hedging my bets. There is a political party here in the United Kingdom. They are not currently a governing party, but they do get a lot of press attention because, I don't know, I think because they're frankly the rage bait racist party, okay? I don't like to get too political on here because, I don't know, I don't want to make people mad at me. Because again, one of the things that these guys want to do is basically scrap the you can stay here forever, like, permit that I'm on, and it would switch to a more stringent, you have to renew it every 5 years. I believe including retroactively. Now, again, they are not currently in a position to enact this idea. And this might also be one of those things that they hope racists in the country will think is really cool and therefore vote for them and then not actually put it into place when they come into power. But those are a lot of ifs. And I'm still hoping that that party never gets elected to office because, frankly, I don't like them. For, I think, fairly obvious reasons. Those reasons being, I'm a decent human being who cares about other people, and also an immigrant. But fundamentally because I'm a decent human being who cares about other people. Okay? But one never knows, and I've been disappointed by governments before. I do not want to be disappointed in a way that jeopardizes my ability to continue living in the country that I have made, you know, my home, my livelihood, my little 2-person family. No. And I'm very much, I think I speak for myself and my moderator / spouse when I say we are not interested in moving back to Canada. For many and various reasons. But yeah, anyways. Doing good, Sissy. I hope you are too. I'm doing pretty alright, thank you. I'm just painting in some happy little buildings in an imaginary Copenhagen, as you do. Man, I'm really, honestly, this is so silly, but I am genuinely making myself want to go back to, Copenhagen. I really do. Here's another thing about my situation. My situation is slightly unique as a person with ILR status in the United Kingdom, in as much as that I'm also from Canada, and because I have a Canadian passport, that means that I can vote in elections here in the UK. If I were, say, from the US and I had ILR and I didn't have British citizenship, I would not be able to vote. So that's a pretty substantial difference. And one of the things that I saw suggested by someone is like, this is a really easy way to ensure that the racist party does not get in, considering there's like hundreds of thousands of people living in this country right now currently who are on the same, like, who have the same immigration status that I do. Hundreds of thousands, okay? If, perchance, you were to say, grant everyone, regardless of, like, nationality of birth, who has ILR status, the right to vote, you would deal a massive blow against the shitty racist party, because I guarantee none of the people with ILR who can suddenly vote in elections would be voting for them. So, if I were the PM right now, and I heard that, you know, like, the racist, like, super right-wing party were like, we're gonna scrap ILR, I would say, alright, you know what? Everyone with ILR gets to vote now. That's what I would do. So simple. Anyways. And I say that with not necessarily massive amounts of skin in the game either way, because I can already vote. But, once again, I care about other people. And I know other people who also have ILR and are from countries where I don't actually know whether or not they're allowed to vote here. I could look that up. Anyways, I'm not going to look it up right now, but the point is there are a lot of people who live in this country, who live permanently in this country, who can't vote. And I think it would be cool if that changed. And I think it would be advantageous if that changed, to be perfectly honest. Leaky says, it's rarely folks in cities with diverse populations that are anti-immigration. Funny that. Yeah, odd that. Go figure. Huh. Interesting. Anyways. I mean, considering, like, my workplace, I would say, like, a third to a half of the people, like, that I physically know from, like, day job, were not born here. It is a very cosmopolitan city. And I love that about it. Anyways. What's the color of this? I think it was kind of like... It was kind of it was this kind of corally color. So to be honest, that's kind of just that. It's kind of just oh, sweet. Okay. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna use the... I think this is actually called coral pink. I think it's more of like an orange, but hey, you know what? Whatever. It's very pretty. So I think that's what I'm going to use. Maybe I'll add just a little bit of flamingo. And I'm gonna not dust it down with any like brown or gray or anything. I'm just gonna go straight ahead on this. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice. That's pretty. Oh geez, just as soon as I start painting again, I get the warning that we're gonna have a break in like 2.5 minutes. Shoot. Okay. Well, let me quickly paint this into place. Let me pull up my reference on my phone again. And then we'll take a little breaky do. And then we'll come back. And I'll probably yap some more. Thank you for this has been a very yappy stream, and I'm very grateful to y'all for listening and also having such wonderful insights and things to tell us. It's one of the joys of streaming for me is just getting to hang out with y'all and have really interesting conversations, and we learn so much from each other. I think it's just nice. It's just nice, you know. Okay, I've got 1.5 minutes. I want to just slightly mellow this out a little bit. So for the side of the building, because you know, just in case it's a little in shadow. So I added a little bit of the sort of tealy greenish blue to it, so it's not quite as vibrant as the one that's like facing us directly. And I don't think that's really done that much. So I'm going to add a little more. Not a ton. That's kind of grayed it down maybe a little too much, but let's kind of blend that together. Let's blend it out. And then we'll go to, okay, I've got 50 seconds. I've got 50 seconds. Ah, shoot. Okay. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. Heck. Ah, yeah, that's perfect. That is perfect. I'm really happy with that. I think this painting is going to be cute, y'all. I've got a little feeling in my heart that this painting might turn out a little bit cute, if I may say so myself. And I don't know if that's too self-congratulatory to say that I think it's possible that this might be a cute painting. I don't know if that is. I'm really sorry. I'm going to take a sip of my jasmine tea, and then we're going to take a little quick break. Delicious. And also genuinely, I hope you like this. I kind of like being transparent. I think that's fun, having like a transparent background rather. I mean, you get to see a little bit more of the space, which is fun. But anyways, yeah, if you have any thoughts on the PNG tuber, let me know while we're on break. We are taking a break, so you don't have to, so you don't miss anything because ads. I'm sorry if you have to see ads, but I will also be away. So BRB, everybody. Hey, everybody, I'm back. Hi. Welcome back from the ad break. It's nice to be back. What's for dinner, chat? What are y'all having for dinner? I am having kids menu. I'm quite looking forward to it as well. Having some fish fingies with mashed potatoes and peas. And I also have these like gluten-free breaded cauliflower things they had in the frozen section at the supermarket, and I'm so intrigued by. But they also have, because it's cauliflower, they have immense potential to either be really nice or be really like, oh no. Depending on the texture and how cooked the cauliflower is in the middle. Because, you know, cauliflower that's, like, raw or, like, the correct amount of cooked is delicious. If you overcook cauliflower, it can kind of get into that, like, slightly more unpleasant, like, farty territory, which I'm not a big fan of. Or it starts to get kind of, like, mushy if it's very, very, very well cooked. And that might not be super pleasant inside some breading. So it could really go either way, and I don't know which way it's gonna go. But I thought, you know, maybe I'll just throw like 2 of those into the air fryer and see whether or not we like them. Because why not? Anyways, this building wants to be blue. This building is very, what shall I say, Moomin house in color, I think. Which is none of the... Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry. I hit the mic. I hit the mic with my paintbrush. Are you okay? I hope you're okay. Anyways, very Moomin House in color, which I don't really have on this palette, because this is too purple adjacent, and this is too green adjacent, but I think if I kind of combine the two of them into one one mega blue, we'll get close maybe to a good Moomin House kind of equivalent. Anyways, this stream has been brought to you by me. I have a shop where you can buy stuff that I do. If you like my art and you want to support me, this is a great place to do it. If you're thinking, you know, I would really like to sub to your Twitch channel at tier 3, I would say save your money. Because you can, if you want to spend that money on me, and I'm not going to tell you not to, if you can, and you would like to, I would sure be grateful. Obviously you don't have to, I'm just happy you're here, but if you wanted to, you can go to my shop. For the same amount, get a whole bunch of stuff. You get like 4 art prints for that, like... I'm just saying, you know, what's better value for your money? Anyways, it's probably that. Anywho, but yeah, so my stream today is also brought to you by my YouTube channel, because I finally, after several months away, uploaded a new video. Was it last week? I don't remember. Yes, it was last week. And that's up on my channel now. It's really neat. This little jug of milk is somewhat relevant to that. So, if you like milk, or hearing someone talk about dairy products, boy howdy have I got a video for you. I hope you enjoy it. Anyways, but yeah, that's some stuff for you. Thank you. Anyways, I'm probably not going to be on too much longer, because I'm going to have to go cook dinner, but we will stick around for a little more. Maybe just to the top of the hour. I'm not sure. This might be a slightly shorter stream because, you know, the vibes are feeling a little bit tepid today. And I had a bit of an ordeal earlier, so yes. I think things are quieting down. I think people are are off making themselves dinner potentially, so I might very well just go do the very same. Maybe once I've finished with these incredibly jaunty colors. I think this is nice. I think this is cheerful. I like cities where buildings are interesting colors. The other very okay, like I realize it's cliche. I know it's cliche, but the other painting that because I've done a painting of Copenhagen previously, and it was Nyhavn, which I know I'm butchering the pronunciation of, but let me pull up a picture in case you don't know the area of whence I'm speaking. I'm sure if you've ever seen like generically photos of Copenhagen, you'll be like, oh yeah. And once again, I'm just going to my shop because I know I have it in my shop. Because I made a bookmark of it, and it looks like. You will see this and be like, ah yes, the famous bit of Copenhagen everyone takes photos of. Which is, I know, very cliche of me, but also it's just a really cute spot. You know? Like, the buildings are all really delightful here. I'm gonna just, if I can just pull up the JPEG there so you can see it a little bit better. Yeah, there you go. Not pictured are like the masses of tourists walking up and down this little row on the canal, but believe me, there were lots of those as well. Anyways, but yeah, it's I liked it there. I thought it was charming, but it's kind of a spot that you just sort of look at that street, you say, ah, this is nice, and then you absolutely do not go to any of the restaurants on that strip for lunch because they will be overpriced and not very good. I'm sorry, that's potentially mean. Some of them might be nice, I don't know, but they will be too expensive and entirely full of tourists. Pass. Absolutely pass. It's like, okay, you know, I know that it's like the famous place, but do I have to eat food in the famous place? No. I think I would rather go someplace in a quieter area that is actually really good. And I will say that, you know, when we were here, we had some really nice food. But I did try and be mindful of taking us to places a little bit beyond just like, you know, tourist areas. Because I think it's more fun. And I think you're more likely to get you know, a restaurant that's actually focused on just serving a good meal, rather than being like, oh, well, we better have chips on the menu just in case tourists are here and you're, you know, like, I don't know, your racist your racist Uncle Brian will not eat anything that doesn't seem British. Katie says, and by buying art prints, your money goes to pretty much entirely to Sammy, unlike a Twitch sub, where part of it goes to Twitch. That is very, very true. And that's why, like, specifically, if you're ever thinking of subbing at, like, higher tiers than, like, tier 1 is there. Tier 1, if you want the emotes and stuff, like, that's the sub to go for, because you get all the benefits of being subbed right there. You know, tiers 2 and 3, like, if you really want to, then thank you. I really appreciate it. But also, if you're thinking of doing it, but you like my art also, like, you can just go buy some art from me. Just get a tier 1 sub for the emotes and then just go buy some art. Like, you can just do that. Obviously, you don't have to do any of those things. But, if you are thinking about it, I recommend the one that gets you extra stuff. So yeah. Anyways. But obviously you do you, and I'm not gonna force you not to if you desperately wanted to tier 3 sub to me. I would just genuinely ask if you want me to send you some artwork. Anywho, okay, so the bottom bit of this was like quite dark green, which I don't really have. I have this artichoke green, which I think is really beautiful. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a nice sort of generous quantity of my artichoke green. And then I'm going to take one of my other paint palettes. And I'm going to mix my artichoke green with a darker green. Specifically this bad boy, which is a nice, actually dark green. It's not going to be as dark as the inspiration building in actual Copenhagen as opposed to this imaginary version, but I think it'll be nice, cheerful, springtimery, don't you know? But I'm gonna pull up my reference photo again because now I don't know what I'm doing. I need to know where the paint goes. Okay. All right. Okay. I see. So, yeah, this is definitely a more verdant version, but I'm into it. Also, there were definitely more people out on the street when I took this photo, but I decided to just do these two little guys. I've considered the idea of doing a painting with like a bunch of tiny people, like a busy little city street. I think that might be fun. But is am I potentially straying into the territory of, well, Lowry did it better? If you're not familiar, I like the paintings of Lowry. I used to work in the museum quite close to the Lowry Performing Arts Centre in Manchester, which is named after the artist L.S. Lowry. I also, for my mother's birthday last year, had, or was it her? It might have been for her significant number, I'm probably not allowed to say. Because, you know, some people are shy about such things, and I wouldn't want to put her on blast for being obviously a few decades older than me because she's my mummy, but, you know. I remember I mentioned it to her when it was near her birthday, and she was like, "No, I'm not!" I'm like, okay, you know what? You do you, mummy, I love you. I understand. I went through the, I'm turning 40 and what the hell have I done with my life crisis. And then the, okay, I'm in my 40s now. I am so motivated to achieve all of the things that I didn't get to in my 30s. And then I haven't. So, you know, that's going super well. I still have the same day job. And my numbers haven't shifted upwards too much in terms of positive attention to my artwork. So yeah, those goals are going amazing. Have I finished a screenplay? I've given up on that. Have I finished a novel? I'm working on that. That's where we're at. But so it goes. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yes, I got my mother enjoys doing jigsaw puzzles as like a leisure activity. So I had a look around what was available in one of their like local independent bookshops that had a website where you could order things and have them delivered. So I ordered a jigsaw puzzle of an L.S. Lowry painting and had it delivered to my parents' house. And I basically had to text message my daddy and be like, okay, you know how Mummy's birthday is coming up? So about that, I'm having a gift sent to her, but you will receive a box that is addressed to you. If it's something you're not expecting, it's been delivered by probably like a hippie on a bicycle, because that's the kind of city I come from. And it's a jigsaw puzzle of a painting that you weren't expecting to receive. That's Mummy's birthday gift. And that went over really, really well. And hopefully was a surprise. Hopefully I managed to surprise her. I think actually, wait a second. It's 2026. I just realized that my dad's got a significant birthday this year. Ooh. I'm gonna have to find something that I can surreptitiously send to my parents' house addressed to my mum, and then secretly text my mummy and be like, Mama, someone will deliver a box with your name on it that you are not expecting. It is a gift from me to Daddy for his birthday. Don't let him see it until it is his birthday day. And then when it is his birthday day, please hand him the box and let him know that it's from me. If there's an invoice in the box, please surreptitiously remove it before you do that. Thank you! But his birthday's not for many months, so I don't have to stress about it yet. I will see them in person before either of their birthdays, so like it's fine. Anyways. And I can also at that point do a little surreptitious look around the house to see if there's any significant gaps in things that I could buy for them as little gifts. Nothing big, nothing major, nothing fancy. We're not massive gift people. I just, especially because I don't see my family as often as I used to, because, I used to live in Canada and I haven't lived in Canada for almost 13 years now. I only see them for like a few weeks every couple of years. Because that's as much time and expense I can afford to be away for, and frequency of, expensive flights and stuff. So, I like to send them little gifts for significant birthdays so that they know I'm thinking of them. Because I think that's a nice thing to do. Anyways, that's that. This is I think this is going to look super cute, but also I'm going to stop now, because I would like to go cook dinner, and I think it's just about dinner time. So, I'm going to do that. Let me see who's online, and we can do a little raid on. Thank you for doing the funky little color quiz with me earlier as well. That was really fun. I did another round of it on my phone when we were on BRB, because I had such a good time with it. I will try and remember to put those links into the Discord as well for anyone who didn't get to experience them today, because they are really fun. And I thought they were a pretty good time. So I'm going to see who's online, who we can do maybe a little raid on, maybe someone we haven't seen in a little while, I don't know. But, yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me, everybody. I hope you've had a nice time. I've had a nice time with y'all. Oh, you know what? I haven't seen this person online in a while. This might just be because of the times that I'm online, or they might not have been around recently. I don't know. But I'm going to see what they're up to and just make sure they're not just about to finish. I don't think they're just about to finish, and I think we also just missed an ad break. Oh, they're doing some cool craft stuff. Oh my god, that's so cute. Okay, we're going to go say hi to you who's doing some cool craft stuff. Because that's super rad. Okay, I am appending our newest emote into the generic raid message. I think we premiered this emote on Monday and I forgot to mention it at the time. So feel free to grab the message with the emotes if you have the emotes. If you don't have the emotes, you can just say generic raid message or append any cool emotes you do want. It's all good. I will be back tomorrow morning playing some Silk Song and hopefully beating that ding-dang boss fight we're stuck on right now. But never mind. It's all good. You're all breathtaking. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I had a really fun time chatting with y'all, and yeah, I hope that you have a good rest of your day and all that, yada yada yada. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, everyone. Good night and good luck.